All right, y'all. Welcome to another segment of Boy Gang telling you no story. Today we got a special guest with us, Deona. And you from North Carolina, Deona?
No, I'm from Louisiana, my family, but I live in
Okay.
Texas.
Okay, all right. So we have Deanna on with us from Texas, and we're definitely excited to have her on. Definitely coming from a female perspective. You're actually the first female that I've recorded on the podcast.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
And today we have me in the building in the studio on the podcast, Asa, Lady Boy. And I honestly I might be a little biased, but I came because Deanna has so much knowledge and a lot of background as it relates to it. I've kind of peeked on your Facebook and stuff like that. And I'm so excited because as someone who just got into the world of outdoors, it's really good to see us and in us in both aspects.
Yes, yes,
Being a part of the outdoors, that it is a space for us. I would say, unfortunately, joined some groups like on Facebook and things like that, and like, oh, this one isn't for me, like, or oh, we're very underrepresented here. So, I really look forward to speaking with you, and with that, I guess let's begin. So, our Q question is, what is your favorite outdoor tradition?
it's kind of hard about the traditions, but I do carry on because I've been fishing since I was a little girl with my family. And every year when I was young, when my grandmother was alive, we had a family reunion every year at the lake. And everybody, when I say all my mom's brothers and sisters and the kids, we was always at the lake fishing. I want to bring that on because I have grandkids now, but they're 2 and 3, so they're not really too ready. But I'm waiting for them to get older, and I only have one son, so I just love fishing. I fish all year round, and I fish
Okay.
and hunt. So it's just peace. So that's my tradition is just getting out there and bringing more people into the fishing life, because it's an
Okay.
addiction.
Got you
All right.
exactly.
Okay.
I didn't get it at first because I was like, because in the beginning he would go like, I just need. He'll say like, I need a peace of mind. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
you talk to me, you good. But when I went out there, truth be told, it's like literally just getting to the water. You don't even have to pull out, your rod yet, but just getting to the water and that typically like that calmness, that like, okay, this is the spot.
Yes.
It really just definitely brings about a sense of peace. And then though, when you start catching fish, whole other situation. Now you have the excitement and you're like, okay, come on, I
Yeah.
got
Yep.
Yeah.
You can leave all your worries behind because the fish are non-judgmental. The fish doesn't care. So to me, when you're out there fishing and fishing, to me, you meet some of the best people. They're friendly. They just you can strike up a conversation with someone you've never known, and you guys might end up telling you guys your whole life, or even if you're out there by yourself. It's just that sense of just like you said, it's peace. The water, the noise, the crickets. It's just you catch something, you don't. You do. It's just you're always happy and relaxed out there. It's
Yeah.
just it's just beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, and think about it, I definitely agree. Actually, like whenever I have some stuff on my mind, I just take it and cast it in the water because I know once it's out there, it's gone. Cause I can't swim. I ain't gonna tell you no story, so I ain't going out there to get it. Yeah.
Well, I love to swim, and I think
Okay.
that's what it is. I think the water, whether it's fresh water or salt water, they're the same, but they're different.
Yeah.
Because when you're freshwater fishing, you kind of know what you're gonna get, but when
Yeah.
you're saltwater fishing, it can be anything.
Yeah.
From big to small. So,
Okay.
um, it's just about the relaxation, like you said. You just toss it out there, and now I started kayaking. It's a whole different. Is different.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the videos of people like saltwater fishing, and I'm like, I definitely want to do that. Like, it's
Yes.
definitely a desire. So, we're on the topic of fishing. What is your favorite fish to fish for?
And freshwater, I'm a crappie girl. So I love crappie. I mean, I get the slabs. And
Okay.
that is my logo, SistaGals Fishin Adventures. I snatch souls. So it's that thump of a crappie, and I think it's because crappie are the divas of the water, because you have to have good presentation, because crappies bite up. So it's like you may be seeing the fish there if you're on live scope or you're just fishing. But for a crappie, it has to be a beautiful presentation for them. That's why I call them the divas of the water, because they'll probably look at your bait and be like, I don't want that. So you have to change baits quite a bit when it comes to crappie fishing. So, and then when they hit, they hit. So I just love it.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie to you. That is my
Yeah.
favorite fish.
Okay.
That's what Darius says. When they hit, they hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
definitely.
You be
Yeah.
addicted to the thump, as we say.
Yeah. 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 And the thing about it, when they hit, your hand got to be hitting that rod at the same time. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gone.
Yeah.
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 No,
Yeah.
And so I tight line. So, I usually keep my pole in my hand because I jig.
Uh,
So I just love it.
yeah.
Crappies, I love crappie fishing. And they're a good fish to eat. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Is it your to go? Is it your to go to fish to eat?
Yeah, as far as freshwater, I like crappie, and I know people call them different, but they're like, I call them perch because I'm from Louisiana, my
Okay.
family. But I like the bluegill perch, too.
Okay.
But it's a
Okay.
little bit more fishier, it's a
Okay.
sweeter taste. But for a clean, fresh fish to me that's not fishy, it's got good white meat, is, yes, it's crappie. And then I do like bass too. People don't like to hear us say big mouth bass of eating them
Yeah.
because that's a trophy fish, but I don't trophy fish. I
Yeah.
grocery fish. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
got
I
Yeah.
you.
do. Yes.
Yeah.
Got you.
Hmm.
Oh goodness.
Have you had the opportunity to catch a nice size crappie and get them mounted?
No, that's funny because I always tell people I'm only in the 2 pounder club. I'm trying to get to the 3 pounder club,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I ate him.
Uh,
I'm not into putting the stuff in my house because I
yeah.
deer hunt and I get deer every year too.
Yeah.
So I don't want nothing in my house looking at me. So
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't, and I probably never will. Some people do, and I don't knock it, but nah, I don't want nothing in my house looking at me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially that
Understood.
I ate.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. Now,
Oh,
now speaking of deer hunting, when does the season come in for you all?
Here in Texas in November.
November.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of when does it?
In January, like usually around the first week of January. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll hunt.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of hunting, and I'm hopefully gonna. I'm trying to get a hog this year because I always miss the hog,
okay.
and I'm gonna try to go down Louisiana and go rabbit hunting because I eat
Ooh.
Okay.
rabbit and squirrel too. So I'm a country, but city but
Okay.
country. Yeah.
All
So
right. Okay.
yeah,
All
so I'm
right.
gonna try to get it all in this winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now I'll be honest. I'm a little bit of a fraud. Do not have my license just yet, but I've been like preparing and kind of seeing like listening to Darius as far as what to do and things of that nature. I am so ready to be licensed and to like have be able to actually go out there. I do love to like because I think it's that same type of peace when you
Yes.
go into the woods as well.
Yes, it's an adrenaline. And
Yeah.
I'm retired military. Well, my family started me out, hunting. They hunt, and so I've been around weapons for a long time. And then I did 21 years in the military. I worked at a gun after I retired from the army. I worked at a gun range for a little while, and I think that every woman, not I know men, but I think me personally, every woman should know how to shoot a weapon. I think that you should learn it the proper way by going to an actual gun range and taking a basic class because that basic class teaches you the fundamentals
Mhm.
of it. Be able to take it apart, put it together, clean it. It's just not about owning it.
Exactly.
So, I think that every woman should take that class because, you know, I'm single, so I'm here in my home alone. So I should need to know what to do and how to do to protect myself and feed myself with that. You know what I'm saying? Just like with
Exactly.
Yeah.
fishing, you know, you just don't buy the reels because my fishing post costs money, you
Yeah.
know, and not a little bit of money, you know. So you have to take care of everything that you use for your sport. When it comes to fishing, you got to change your line, you got to clean your reels, you know, and then when it comes to hunting, you have to clean those weapons, you have to
Mm-hmm.
oil them. So, you
Yeah.
know, it's more than just having them. Because when you have an addiction like me of fishing and hunting, it costs money and
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
not cheap, you know.
Yeah.
And thank God that I'm retired military and I'm 100% disabled veteran, so I don't have to pay for my combo pack for the fishing and hunting. But
Yeah.
you, when you enjoy something, it costs money, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
because that's where I rather put my money into is
Hmm.
fishing and hunting. But you have to take care of those things too.
Very
So
much
you
Yeah.
so.
know, but I believe you,
Yep.
honey. You need to get out there and learn. And if I was closer to you, I'd take you myself.
Got you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Look, I'm gonna keep it to that. I might just have to come through Texas.
Come
Look.
on. Come on.
Yeah.
I let you stay here, you know, because I went on a fishing trip the other month and I think it was like 6 guys that were from Nebraska because we had the fishing trip. It was like 20 of us.
Mhm.
And they drove from Houston and Dallas is the midpoint. So I let them all stay here. You
Mhm.
know, I have 2 extra
Mm-hmm.
rooms. There were blow ups. So, you know, that's the good thing about when you become good fishing friends and hunting friends, you guys are family. So, you
Yes.
Yeah.
know, I let them all stay here at my house. They was all over the house sleep. You know,
Exactly.
hey, that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. And so my first hunt that I went on was a rabbit hunt with Darius. Now, life changing, not because of the because of the rabbit. We were in North Carolina. Snowed, mind you. They hadn't had any snow the whole season. It
Oh,
was
wow.
was it January?
Yeah.
January, late January, snowed the night before. It was a good, first, of course, it was like a good foot and a half of brush, and all that brush was covered in the snow. It was an experience to say the least. But that first hunt, the camaraderie changed my like. I'm Southern North raised, but like my parents are from the South, so that
Yeah.
space of like the family closeness and stuff like that, going to the, coming to the South for the summers and things of that nature, love like just that gathering space, the camaraderie that was there. They brought out the big grill. Everybody, look, I think it was like 3 rabbits that day,
Oh,
but
wow.
camaraderie of it all was like, this is where it's at. Like, this is why keep these traditions and things,
Yes.
because you just never know. And even to that space, how you were saying, it was like, hey, come to my house, this, that, and the third. Like, just in general of needing your community and things like that. Once you have that space of, because I mean, heck, if I can be comfortable around you with a gun, I can be comfortable with you, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get that, just love that. That's definitely a part of the experience that like has me like interested and hooked for real.
Yeah. And you just
Yeah.
meet good people, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
So, and that's what it is. You become family.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
we really do.
Yeah, and the thing about it, all around good people, not just somebody who putting the front on while they right there in your face and then talk
Yeah.
behind your back or whatever.
Yeah.
Because thing about it, once you meet good hunting and fishing buddies
Hmm.
or whatever, like you say, y'all buddies for life
Yeah,
or
buddy.
Thank
whatever.
you.
And the thing about it, some of them you might just hear from during hunting season, but you still know that they got an outside life to live also. But when
Yes.
hunting season come around, you know you definitely can count on them and be like, hey, we're back on the line and we finna do it another season together. All them,
Yeah.
and we're definitely looking forward to it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
But
hunt
look,
with the same guys every year, far
Uh-huh.
as deer. This year, I'm going to venture out with some other guys to hunt rabbit because
Okay.
they're down south in Louisiana, and
Okay.
he runs dogs. And so I've never
Okay.
hunted that way before with dogs.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to get down there. And so,
Yeah.
and my birthday's next month, so I think they start sometime like October. And
Okay.
so I'm gonna try to get down there in October, November, sometime on a rabbit hunt with a guy out of
Okay.
Lafayette. So, and he runs
Yeah.
dogs.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Actually, I know a group of guys from South Carolina that went to Lafayette last rabbit season or whatever, and they did real good.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
big. Those are what they call swamp rabbits.
yeah,
Those bad boys are huge.
yeah, yeah,
And like I tell people, and I posted that yesterday, you give someone a fish, that's for a day. But if you
yeah,
teach them, and the way prices are now with food and stuff, that's my groceries. I tell
yeah,
people I eat rabbit, squirrel, my fish that I catch, and then plus
yeah,
I live in a really nice neighborhood, and my area that I live in, we're kind of friendly. So I give fish away to people. I
yeah.
do because I usually do fish a whole lot, especially in the winter.
Uh huh.
I give a lot of fish away, and my mother and my aunt are kind of getting up there in age, so they don't fish a lot and like they
Okay.
used to.
Yeah.
So I give my mom and my aunt fish every year. So I
Yeah.
do a lot of fishing to provide for
Hmm.
my family, and my granddaughters love fish fillets. So I bring them home and I fillet them up with the electric knife, choo choo choo, and
Yeah.
they love it. They
Okay.
love it.
Okay. Yeah. Do your son like to hunt and fish also?
My son, he likes to fish. He lives in
Okay.
Shreveport right now, but he likes to
Okay.
fish. Yeah,
Okay.
he doesn't.
All right.
He's not much of
Okay.
a hunter, but he does fish off and on. But
Okay.
he's younger. He's 30. He'll be 30, and so
Okay.
he's it's a different generation. Maybe once he
Yeah.
gets a little bit older, maybe
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he does like to fish.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Now, how long we're talking about how long you've been fishing. How long have you been hunting?
I hunted a little bit when I was younger, but I started like I think it was like 2010, a little bit more. I think it was 2010, because you just can't hunt with every. Well, I don't believe in hunting with everybody. So
Hmm.
when and because I moved a lot in my military career because of my
Yeah.
my job in the military. So once I started coming closer to the end of my career, I would come down here to Texas and hunt with my cousin's fiance or husband, and so I started more. And then once I retired in 2015. I started hunting every year after that. So
Gotcha.
yes, but I
Okay.
only like to hunt in the wintertime. People here, hog is overpopulated. My family believes that you don't hunt until after that first frost. So I don't want warm animals. So I
Yeah.
like to hunt during the winter. My animals, just my preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's my preference also.
yeah,
um, Especially for like with raccoons and stuff or whatever. I just because think about it, everything got its season, and
yeah.
it's got its season for a reason. Because when it's not their season, it's usually mating season for them, and either
Yes,
and they've been having offspring and stuff, and they got to raise their offspring instead of
yeah.
you trying to do something year round or whatever. Because actually here in Georgia, the season is year round for raccoon and possum.
Okay.
But the thing about it, I do a lot of trapping, and I only like to trap them like October going all the way to February. I don't try
Yeah.
to do nothing over them warm months or whatever because, of course, actually animals carry stuff also or whatever,
Parasites.
and a lot of them is
Yes.
prevalent during the warm season or
Yep.
whatever, and you definitely want to have the best quality of meat or
Especially if you feed
whatever.
it to your families. That's so true.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And the thing about me, I like to know what my wild game is eating. So whenever I eat it, I know that hey, I know exactly where I got this from. I ain't type of person. I ain't finna pick up no roadkill or
Yes.
nothing like that or
Yeah.
whatever. Now, if I hit something, that's different. If
He's coming
it,
home.
yeah, yeah. So
I've never eaten raccoon, and I've never hunted raccoon, and
okay,
I don't know. I don't know about raccoon, but and I know people like when you eat rabbit and squirrel. I was like, yeah, but raccoon, I've never had raccoons.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, but I'll let Asa tell you about it or whatever. She can give you the rundown on it because um she haven't long tried raccoon or whatever, and she can tell you about it.
How'd you like it?
So I am going to attribute it to, and I think I have right to say this because we've had a vegan try my raccoon. Now, mind you, the first time I cooked raccoon, I had never tasted it.
Hmm.
However, we've actually created a seasoning blend that helps with the gamey taste of the raccoon.
Okay.
Love it. It's delicious. I would liken it to like a roast, like a beef roast or what have you. And that's how I prepare it, kind of with the carrots, potatoes, etc. It's good. Now, I learned this from my grandmother. That we don't eat possum because they'll eat anything, but like the raccoon is a little bit more choosy,
Yeah, they're
and
cool.
as
Yeah.
far as my like information, I just keep it there, and I go ahead and enjoy
Yeah.
Yeah.
enjoy what I enjoy. Like I don't need too much information, you know. So we're good to go. But yeah, I think it's all in with most game animal. It's all in the preparation. But again,
Yes.
once you start figuring out how you like to eat it and stuff, you're good to go. Just rinse and repeat.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
game. I
Hmm.
mean, I eat deer. I substitute my deer. Like last year, I ground my whole deer.
Okay.
So I didn't buy no hamburger meat last year at
Yeah.
all. And I
Yeah.
think I just ran out of, I think I got 1 more pound of a sleeve of deer. I think
Okay.
one, my spaghetti, chili, anything that I would use hamburger for, I
Yeah.
Hmm.
use deer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Now, do you process your own meat?
No,
Okay.
I take it to a place here in Dallas and
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, and have it processed. I'm not that good yet. Um,
Okay.
one of the guys that I go with, he's teaching me,
Okay.
because I'm not squeamish or anything like that. He was showing me how do you get a to skin it, and then last year he was showing me how you gut it. But when you're gutting it, you have to be real careful so you don't ruin the meat. And
Yeah.
Yes.
so I'm doing a lot of kind of watching and
Yeah.
learning so that I can, because I would love to be able to do it myself,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and because it doesn't bother me. I mean, it's something that is going to nourish my body.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'm learning, but then I'll still probably take it to the processor even after
Mhm.
I do all the stuff that I need to, because
Yeah.
I just like for
Mhm.
them. But I do want to get some this year just to like quarter it
Mhm.
and have the legs, because I want to be able to make soups, because I eat a lot of soups in the winter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I would like to be able to just chunk it up, differently and have it for soups,
Definitely.
because I love deer and lamb.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lamb and deer is like my favorite meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deer was my first taste of like wild game. Fell in love. Like, and then I was resonating when you have that last pack and like you just try to hold on to it.
That's
It's
what I'm doing right now. Oh my goodness, I
Yeah.
know the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
got a little ways till deer season. I'm like I'm getting nervous, like I'm addicted or something. I'm like, I
right?
don't want
Yeah.
to eat my last thing of
Yeah.
deer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely know that feeling here or whatever. Because think about it. Be looking through the freezer and be like, oh man, got a pack of deal. But oh, you know what, baby? It's our last pack. I was like,
Listen, but just
we
hold.
gotta let this one ride out until
Mhm.
we really need it, and then
Yeah.
like right before the season come up, we'll go
Yeah,
ahead and get rid of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. It
yeah.
got so like it got so bad. We went um to my in-laws house, and so my father-in-law has a good sense because they're in a space where he can hunt more frequently. Right now
yeah,
we live in about 20 minutes out of Atlanta.
yeah,
So it's that space of like trying to find your places and stuff, like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But so we nicely like grabbed up a couple sleeves of it.
Yeah. The thing about
Thank
it,
you.
and the thing about it, of course, my whole family, my dad, my brother, my uncles, and my granddad, we all hunt or whatever. So it ain't that for me to go home and just open
share.
and look and just open up the freezer. They ain't even got to ask me what I'm in there for.
They already know.
They already know. They already, and then of course my daddy got to talk a little trash. Oh boy, you don't be killing that nine there, no way. I'm gonna let you go ahead and get your portion of it while you here. So yeah. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
hoping to get maybe. I got one last year, and I usually just do one because it's usually enough. But it seems like now lately it's not. So we can get 5 here, and so I think I'm
Okay.
gonna do 2 this year. 2 deer.
Yeah.
And I have like I think about things ahead of time. So I'm like, I just want 2 deer, 1 hog, and then quite a few rabbits and squirrels, because like I said, my mother and my aunt, they grew up on that from Louisiana, and so
Yeah.
whatever I get, I will give to some of my family. So I have to
Definitely.
share. And now my brothers like rabbit, so they were like, sissy, I like rabbit too. So yeah, so when I go home, I'm gonna have to take them some too because my brothers don't hunt. One of
Okay.
my
Got you.
brothers fish, but my brothers they're younger than me. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Got you.
So Deanna, what branch of the military did you serve in?
I was in the army.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service or whatever.
Thank you.
Have you
No, because when I being in the military, when I was done, I was gone. Pew, I was
okay.
off. I didn't want to
Okay.
deal with too much, um, because I like to separate my work life and my,
Yeah.
really, with my son and stuff. So I was always gone, and I only had
Okay.
like, a few friends, at each base. Because, like I said, I moved every 2 to 3 years of my
Okay.
military career,
Okay.
and so I was overseas back, and so I don't know. One of the guys that I do a live with, he's out of Georgia.
Okay.
Grown folks out fishing outdoors. He was there hunting on base, this year. He was hunting and bow hunting. And
Okay.
and he was like, "You don't hunt?" And I was like, "No." And it's a lot different when you hunt on military base. They're very strict.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
strict.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a stalker.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't really too much want to sit in a blind.
Okay.
So I want to walk around and find
Oh,
I'm a stalker.
okay. Okay.
So,
All
and
right.
you can't do that because when you're on base, I guess they said something about they give you a blind and you have to stay in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want
Yeah.
to do that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to walk around and go find them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And that's kind of like me. I just got into tree climbing hunting last season since I'm down here in Georgia.
yeah,
Because I like to move around instead of having coming from South Carolina. We just hunted on the stands that we had that were built
yeah,
on trees and stuff. Basically, you can move them stands,
yeah,
and you'll see the deer 200 or 300 yards away, going a different way, and you're trying to call them and stuff. But being a mobile hunter, that gives you the access to move around because the thing about the deers move different during during different times or whatever. The rut might be on strong, or either it might be pre-rut or something like that. And so either you might got a food source that you want to hunt them because your acorns and your persimmons and your muscadines, you know,
yeah,
all those got their own season, so they fall at a different time in different places.
yeah.
So yeah.
I lived in South Carolina. I lived in Charleston for 3 years. I
Okay.
was a recruiter there, and I didn't hunt there, but I did a lot of fishing. So
Okay.
I loved it. I loved Charleston.
Yeah.
In South Carolina, the people were so friendly. I think that was the most friendliest place I had ever lived in my life, my military career. As
Yeah.
far as the people, oh man, the Geechee, Gala, just wonderful, wonderful, and
Yeah.
the food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
We can
Yeah.
have a whole conversation about the food. It's funny because we moved to Georgia. Let's just say this every southern place isn't like
same.
every southern place.
No, it's
We
not.
just haven't found our fit here. And before we moved here, we lived in South Carolina, and then my family is from South Carolina, and it's like, oh wow, it's different. Like you just want that good plate of food and things
Yes,
of
it's
that nature.
different. Yeah, it
Um,
is.
the name of the show is I Ain't Telling You No Story, and basically the premise of that is every time Darius is about to tell you a really good story, he goes into this. I call it his old man talk of like I ain't telling you no story, and then he goes into this really good story. So a lot happens outdoors. Have you
Yes.
ever experienced like you have anything that you want to share that you've experienced?
Yes, and this was from when I was young. My family, I mean, we're very close, and we used to have such good family reunions. And I think that's why I always go back and I want to be the type of grandma that I grew up with, because my grandmother was my world and my mother. And we fished so much. So I remember one time when we was having a family reunion, we're out there fishing, and my grandmother sitting on her bucket with her cane pole, and she caught a fish, and she gave me the fish to put on the stringer. So I put it on the stringer, but I accidentally, like, I was, instead of just dropping the stringer back in the water and tying it, I was young. I think it was probably about 9 or 10. I wanted to swing the stringer into the water, but still hold it, and the whole stringer full of fish flew off. My
Oh
mama
man.
was so mad.
Oh,
And my grandma was like, "Oh, it's okay, baby," because I could never do any wrong. She's
yeah.
like, "It's okay." And my family, everybody's looking at me. But my grandmother said it was okay, so nobody said nothing. Because grandma looked at him. She's like, "It's okay, baby. We'll catch him back." But I'm telling you, it was a stringer full of perch. And my
Oh
grandmother's like,
man.
"It's okay." And everybody's looking at me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Like,
I
that's
mean, we had
goodness.
some
Yeah.
good, I mean, it was just family fun. I
Yeah.
mean, and I remember when I was young again, my grandmother always sit on a bucket. And my grandmother was fishing with her cane pole, and a snake was coming out of the water. My grandmother didn't move. She didn't flinch. She just kept fishing. And I'm like sitting there beside her. And next thing, my mom, she comes flying over to get the snake. And my mom, she got it and beat it up and everything. And my grandmother still didn't move. She was still just fishing. Like, she wasn't worried about the snake. And it
Yeah.
was funny because my mom, she was like looking at my grandmother. My grandmother's still just fishing, like, I ain't worried about it. I know my family's around me, so they'll take care of it. But my mom, she was just over there just getting the snake. And I'm
Yeah.
just sitting there just looking. But it was just always family. And I'm big, big, big on family. My mother had 9 brothers and sisters, and it's only my mom and my aunt left out of all of them. And
Hmm.
so to me, my family, like now, my brothers, we're really close. We don't, none of us live in the same state, but I just love my family, and they just, this is my heart, so when we can get together and have fish fries and stuff like that, it's just a beautiful thing. It's a blessing, and I tell people all the time to tell your family you love them. And if you can get out and fish and hunt with them or do whatever that makes you happy with them, do it, because we just never know. We just
Yeah.
Exactly.
never know.
Yeah.
And I love my mom. My mom is my world. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just tell people, get out and make good memories. And that's what I want to be able to do with my granddaughters. Make
Hmm.
good memories, wonderful memories, because I want them to feel that love always when they get older that I
Yeah.
feel from my grandmother. And she passed away in 2001. And I remember everything from when I was a little girl from fishing.
Yeah.
I might not remember what happened last week, but I remember my
Mhm.
memories with my family and fishing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because as we get
Um,
older, our brain, gets a little bad.
Definitely,
Yes.
yeah. Darius, he talks about his grandmother who would she fished too, would hunt
Uh-huh.
fish and prepare all the good foods and stuff like that. Definitely has those stories. And I remember they would, like, I would get sent to the south for summer. My great grandmother is the one. It's just something, it was just something about her. She was just such a pillar of strength and like just doing the things and stuff. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. And I just
And
hope a new generation will learn and do that, because I think sometimes it's kind of fading,
mhm.
and that's one of the things that, like, I love with my fishing group, my sister gals. I'm almost at 14,000,
Oh,
and it blew up overnight. My group,
yeah.
Yeah.
and my mom, she's a monitor, and she's like, I didn't know so many women, were out there fishing, especially us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I meet women from all over the world that are out there fishing and
Yeah.
hunting, and it is
Uh-huh.
so beautiful. And the
Yeah.
kids, and I said, we got to keep that going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We need to be able to teach my grandkids being there. I go live, they be cooking, they be juicing with Gigi. And I want them to make sure that they know how to take care of themselves, because we don't
Exactly.
know what tomorrow is. So that's why I tell people, you better learn how to hunt and fish, because you just don't never
Yeah.
know. You better
Yeah.
be able to
Exactly.
feed your family.
Yeah.
So, and be able to cook. So that's why I have
Uh-huh.
my granddaughters, because I did that. I was in
Mhm.
there in the kitchen. All my uncles and all my aunts, everybody in my family, honestly, could cook. All my brothers and my mother's brothers, every last one of them could throw down.
Mm-hmm.
But now times you run into people, they be like, "Do you cook?" They be like, "No, I'm going out to eat." And I be like, "No, you better get on in there and learn how to cook
Figure
Yeah.
and hunt
Yeah.
something
and fish."
out.
Yeah.
figure something
Yeah.
out. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my mom never taught me how to cook, but she had me in the kitchen. And
Yes.
a lot of people who like, I can cook. It's like weren't actually taught per se, but they were in the
Yes.
kitchen and they were able to observe and see. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, this could go together and this could go together. And truth be told, that's what opens the door for you to try things like wild game and stuff like that. Like, okay,
Yep.
it's a piece of meat. This is it. It kind of this resembles more red meat. So I'm gonna
Yep.
season it how I would, my beef or what have you. And it's like, oh, that tastes good. Or I need to do something a little different. I think sometimes people they let that be a hindrance. I
Yeah.
posted we did a cooking demonstration of the raccoon, and I legit just throw it in my instant pot. I let it slow cook, etc. So forth, get tender, season it really well. And so I was like, oh, this is good information to share. I'm in a group
Oh, it
on
is.
Facebook. The comments were like, "Oh, we've gone past eating that type of stuff and this and that." I was like, "Okay, when the stuff hits the fan, you're gonna be
Yeah.
scrolling through looking for, okay, what can
Yeah.
I eat? What can I
Yeah.
use to survive?" And
Yes.
even before that space, like it's something different about knowing where your food is coming from.
Thank you. Because
Like,
nowadays they got so many hormones and steroids and stuff in that food, man.
Yeah.
I tell people that's the reason why our kids are getting bigger than they was, and
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a big difference. And that's why I love going out there and hunting and doing that stuff because, like you said,
Mhm.
we got to know where our food comes from. And
Yeah.
people all the time, and I hate that comment, and it usually comes from us. Well, we don't have to eat that kind of food no more. I know we don't, but I still like chitlins. I still like whatever I like. If you don't
Yeah.
like it, you can just
Yeah.
scroll on past or just
Yeah.
don't like it. But
Yeah.
exactly.
I do. I love chitlins. I love, I don't eat it as much because I am getting older. So, you got to watch your blood pressure and stuff. But I love
Mhm.
pig feet, chitlins. I love all that stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what I grew up on. But
yeah,
if
Yeah.
you choose not to eat that stuff anymore, don't speak negative of me because like I don't have never ate raccoon and I don't know if I'll ever eat it, but I don't say,
Mhm.
oh, you guys are nasty. I don't never tell
I do.
nobody that
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
how do you know if you never try something? Like my
Yeah.
my my little granddaughters, their mother, she's never ate deer, she's never ate wild game. And I told her, girl, you've been over here a whole year eating Bambi. She's like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And she never even knew it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's like, well, just don't tell me. And I was like, okay, I won't. I said, because you liable to eat anything over here, okay? I
Yeah.
said, because if I can, go out and get it, I'm going to cook it, And
Yeah.
so you just can't say, I mean, I lived in Asia for a long time and their culture is different. And I tried everything except for the dog. The Kegogi, I didn't want to try that because that's just some things, hey. But that is
Yeah.
a delicacy over there. But I
Mhm.
don't knock them for that because that's what they breed and that's what they eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't judge people because people come from different realms and they have different cultures. And I
Mhm.
don't like for people to knock things. Just like with my group, SistaGals Fishin Adventures. A lady had posted something that she wanted to be all black. And I was like, no. I said, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
I've served all over the country with different people of nationalities. And I don't believe in just, yes, I do want to see more of us, but my group is for women, men, kids of all creed, nationalities, and colors because
Yeah.
I love everybody until you don't do right, then I just
Yeah.
go on about my business. But I don't think
Exactly.
it should be a color thing, and so
Exactly.
we didn't agree on that. And I said,
Yeah.
I can learn from anybody, any color. I think
Mhm.
we should be able to, when it comes to fishing, if I call you and be like, hey, girl, do you know or you hear about this braid or this, that, or, this,
Mhm.
snap for the fishing line? I
Mhm.
should be able to ask you those type of questions no matter
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
color you are and whether
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
a male or a female. And I have people ask me stuff all the time. On my page, there was a girl asking about line the other day. Do I use braid or mono? And so, and I told her I use mono, but I'm going to change over to braid because I pay a lot of money for my jigs because I usually
Mhm.
fish with hand ties and plastics. And my
Yeah.
hand ties cost me money. And just
Mhm.
the other day when I was kayak fishing, I think I lost about 6. And my feelings was so hurt because I was fishing with mono and it breaks off if you get hung.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with braid, it's stronger.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to go to braid because I can't handle. I just paid like I don't even know how much money the other day ordering because I ordered from a guy out of Kansas, Crappie Stopper Jigs. He just sent me some today. I think today he's mailing them, and I pay like I spend like $30-$40, and I like different colors.
Mhm.
So I be like, we should be able to help each other and give each other advice. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Exactly.
saying? No matter what
Yeah.
color, or whether it's a woman, because you have people out there who don't want to take advice. There's women who
Mhm.
don't want advice from men, and there's men who don't want advice from women. I'm like, hey, we all
Yeah.
can learn from each other. Be
Mhm.
Exactly.
coachable. It makes you better. It makes you
Yeah.
better.
Every single time.
Mhm.
Every single time. No matter if it's, even if it's deciding, that's good information, but maybe I don't need that specific one, or I can
Yeah,
pass it on to somebody else, or that's great information that I can, really change the game in regards to
yeah,
what I'm doing. And to be closed minded will not get you anywhere.
yeah,
I think like Darius and I have decided like that's really what we wanted like Board Game Gang to reflect, is that just basically the traditions, keeping those traditions and passing them on, capturing them.
yeah.
And that truly can come from anywhere. What we do require is just a mutual space of respect.
Yes,
Yeah.
Respecting what you come to the table with and what I come to the table with,
Yeah.
so that we can have that conversation. Because legitimately, you could have half of what it's going to take to change the world, and we can have the other half. But if
thank you.
if you're put off by who I am, how I look, we're just gonna be sitting here.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
Mhm.
definitely agree with
I
that.
believe in sharing. Sharing is caring, and you should
Yeah.
always be willing to share your knowledge.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what are you going to keep it for?
Yeah.
Why do I need to keep something that I do a secret?
Yeah.
When it comes to fishing and hunting, you
Yeah.
should be trying to help somebody so that
Mhm.
somebody else can. Yeah, they might get better at it than you, but who
Yeah.
cares? You can say at least you got somebody or you help somebody fish or hunt. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And I
Exactly.
Yeah.
ask 50 million questions about
Yeah.
stuff to everybody. And I'm only going to ask you once or twice now. But if you don't help me, I won't ask you no more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I'm not going to be a burden. But I'm going to find somebody who's going to help me.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I don't know everything.
Uh-huh.
You
Mhm.
know, and I feel like if I keep asking you and you don't want it, just tell me. I don't
Mhm.
want to help you, Deanna. I don't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
help you with
Yeah.
this. And I'll
Yeah.
go and find someone else that will, because there's always, for every person, there's always somebody who say they will help me. And let
Yeah.
me
Exactly.
tell you, that's the reason why I've grown so much. Like my cousins, when I first started SistaGal, my fishing page, my cousin, she has American Titan Outdoors. Her and her husband, they're from Chicago. And I followed them, and then one day my cousin comes on the page and he's like, that's your cousin. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, I've been following this couple for a year. He was like, that's your blood cousin. But our families are from Louisiana, but they moved to Chicago when they were young.
That
And
yeah.
let me tell you, she and her husband have helped me with my page and different fishing stuff so much.
Mhm.
And she was talking to me before we even knew we was family.
Mhm.
And when I called her and told her that we blood, and she was like, "What?" And all of the fishing community, and
Yeah.
it can bring people together that never knew that they was friends, family. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And we
Exactly.
we find out we blood. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And people like, well, I wear my logo, but they'll see me a lot at American Titan Outdoors. They was like, well, you should be representing yourself. I said, no, I represent who has supported me. So I
Yeah.
I wear different people's brands and different stuff because they've helped me along the
Exactly.
way.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can't forget who helps you. You
Mhm.
cannot. You
Yeah.
have to give back.
Yeah.
And I believe in that. Giving back to the people who brung me on their shows. Just
Yeah.
like now, I'm gonna be an advocate for y'all. Y'all best believe I'm gonna be like, hey, y'all need to check them out, their podcast. You
Mhm.
know what I'm
We
saying? Because
appreciate you.
I want to see you guys grow and grow and grow and grow. And like the same with me, we have to help each other. Like you said,
Mhm.
two halves come to a whole. You know,
Mhm.
Exactly.
and that's the
Yeah.
blessings of that you run into. I shed a tear when you sent me an inbox. I ain't even gonna lie to you, and asked me to come on the podcast. I mean, I was over.
Mhm.
I mean, I really did tear up a little bit because I was just like me. And I
Yeah.
think this is a blessing, and I thank you guys. I do. I
Yeah.
thank you wholeheartedly because
Yeah.
I want my name, my SistaGal brand, to be all over. You know what I'm
Mhm.
Mhm.
saying? I
Yeah.
want to be a
Yeah.
household name to where they be like, oh, let me go on SistaGals Fishin. So, because
Mhm.
that is the thing in my group, we don't down nobody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We help. We
Yeah.
encourage. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We put learning stuff on there. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what we have to be about, teaching,
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely,
helping.
definitely. Tell us more about Sister Gal.
I created it end of, I think it was sometime last year, the Fishing Girl Sister Gal Fishing page. And the Sister Gal comes from, because people like, what? My mother's nickname was Sugal, because she's from Louisiana. And so I took the name of Sister Gal because I drive Corvettes too. That's another story. And so I was in a Corvette, and I've always had the Sister Gal. Mine is Sister Gal, and my
Mhm.
mom is Sigal. And so I took it and did the Sister Gals Fishing Adventures, because I take it from the water, I fillet, I try to do it all. I cook it. And
Yeah.
so I was like, let me start a page to where women and men could come on here and showcase what they do.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care whether it's TikToks. I just say no politics and no religion. Now if
Mhm.
you say thank God or whatever, that's fine. But we're not going to
Yeah.
get on no debates about religion or politics.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and for other people to post their groups in their TikToks, their YouTubes. So, and if you sell something that's fishing and hunting related, I let all that in my group. And there's a lot of groups that like, oh, I don't want you to sell this, do that. Why
Yeah.
can't we support the little man that's
Yeah.
making these plastics and jigs?
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with Bass Pro. But if your husband told me, oh, I made this jig, I'm like, send me some and let me make a video so I can get
Yeah.
you more publicity on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
that's what my group is about. I started selling my shirts, my Sister Gal logo shirts,
Uh-huh.
and I don't make money off of it. I make it for what is I buy it for and shipping and handling because I just
Yeah.
want to see people in my Sister Gals, and it's
Yeah.
men or women.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not nothing that men can't wear that because I'm like, well, you're not gonna have a sexy man on your chest, are you? As a man, because some guys be like, I don't know about. I'm like, it's a female, it's Sister Gal
Exactly.
to help other people. And like I said, I do like 3 or 4 lives a week.
Mhm.
Honestly, I do them with grown folks fishing and outdoors. They're out of Georgia. They're out of Macon, and
Okay.
then crappie stopper jigs. I go on live with him, and we share each other's platforms. And then
Mhm.
American Titans Outdoors. I do live. I go sometimes with them, and so that we can come together and we talk about hunting and fishing
Mhm.
and different things because you can learn some things. Like they talk about the boats and I just got
Yeah.
a new native kayak. So, people give me suggestions all the time because
Yeah.
I've never
Mhm.
kayaked before last month in my
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah.
now I'm learning and I have a lot of people giving me suggestions.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so Sister Gals is a group so that we can learn and just see what everybody because like I'm in Texas but we don't have salt water. So
Mhm.
I have to go way to Galveston, and I went on a snapper trip, a 12-hour snapper trip, and
Mhm.
out of Galveston, which is 5 hours. But you might be catching something different than what I'm catching. So, and even your husband, y'all crappie fishing. I love to see crappie. You know what I'm saying? They got
Yeah.
white crappie and they got black crappie. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And the size, it excites me when I be seeing
Yeah.
these people with these hogs. I be like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I love to see people's posts and what they're doing with their grandkids, their kids, and their family. And so
Uh-huh.
that is what my page. And
Mhm.
everybody has
Yeah.
a difference in their groups. And
Uh-huh.
that's fine. Some people like, I don't want TikToks, I don't want this. Well, that's the new generation.
Yeah.
TikToks and YouTube.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell them to post it. Long as it has something to do with fishing and outdoors. I don't care if it's hunting, fishing, gardening. As long as it's outdoors, camping,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, hiking, anything that has to do with outdoors.
Mhm.
I have a cousin that lives in Atlanta. He owns A to Z glass solutions out of Atlanta. His dad, I used to fish because our parents are brother and sister. And his dad was like my favorite uncle. He passed away a few years ago, and we used to river fish together. And my cousin Lonnie, the one that owns the glass company in Atlanta, he got the most greenest thumb, I think, out of the family that's our generation.
Mhm.
I mean, he can grow anything. Like his backyard, he's got all these, plants and stuff, and I just think that it's all because every time I plant a garden, it just shrivels up.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I'm always on his page looking at stuff like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
So it is just, I love to see all that, and so
Yeah.
Sister Gals, just we want to see the outdoors because we have to get out. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you'll be depressed. Like during COVID, I almost went crazy because I was like, I got to get out and do something, besides fishing. I got to get
Mhm.
outside. And
Yeah.
outside, like you said, that fishing in the water, it can get rid of a lot of stuff because mental
Yeah.
illness, it's real,
Mhm.
and if you don't go to a therapist or something, and even if you go to a therapist, fishing could be a therapy to me.
Mhm.
And that's why they have soldiers with PTSD that deal with animals and different stuff like that because you need an outlet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
fishing is
Yeah.
your outlet or hunting, I tell people try it. And
Mhm.
some
Mhm.
people like, I don't, a lot of females, I ain't going to do that. I don't want to get my nails. And I'm like, dude, I keep my nails done. But let me tell you, this is my only long nail right now. Because you know what? I broke all my nails from kayaking, lifting my kayak down into the back of my truck. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm still a woman. I
Yes.
still wear makeup. I'm still a girl. But
Yes.
when it's time to fish and hunt, it's time to turn that girly down and kick into that tomboy and go get my food.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And I think that that's the thing that I like my grandmother and my great grandmother, that was the thing. They were still very much so feminine, very much so women. However, when it came down to, okay, we need to get this stuff done, we were getting the stuff done. And that does not take away. Like, I can get
no.
into a whole like talk about it, but there's that, it just seems like there's such a divide. Like, you can't be both.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, that's not the case. You
Thank
can
you.
you can do the
You're
thing.
lucky because I wish I could find a husband who, I don't know if I ever get married again because I was married, but I wish I could find a partner that loves the passion like I do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I call that in the universe, that my next man loves to hunt and fish
There we
because I would
go.
love to do that because like a
Mhm.
Yeah.
lot of the people that I watch, their wives and, some of them, like the guys that I fish with now, their wives don't, none of them fish.
Yeah.
And so the people that I follow, like my cousin and Oliver's Outdoors, all these, they're hunt and fish with their
Mhm.
spouses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, you
Yeah.
might want to go out by yourself sometimes because
Uh-huh.
that's understandable. You need your space. But to have a partner that hunts and fish and loves so we can go out there and do it together,
Yeah.
I wish
Mhm.
for that. I wish for that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so you
Yeah.
guys are very blessed, very
Yeah.
Yeah.
blessed
Thank you.
to have
I,
that.
and I'll have to like to glow on in the patience because again, definitely was not a part. Now, I've always been the person who's like, I'm gonna do all the things. I want to learn it. I want to experience it. I'm gonna be out here with the biggest, baddest guys, and I'm gonna do it too. In
Yeah.
my look, in my hair, and so it's like the patience that he has out there. Because again, my father-in-law, he be just a laughing because I was like, yeah, daddy, I'm going out there, and he said, oh, okay. But he welcomes me out there and the patience that he has to like teach me what's going on and stuff like that. Now, mind you, I do come to the table. I'm not gonna be out there talking and stuff. I know my place. Like I
Yeah.
know what to do, not to do.
Yeah.
But to the
Yeah.
space of like it definitely has opened a door. And then, just the being able to be out there,
Yeah.
together. It's such
Yeah.
a, it's definitely a space of connection.
Yeah.
Um that we may have not had if I wasn't open
Yeah.
to that. And so that would definitely be a note for women whose husbands are out there because that was one of my mistakes. I went into one of those, wives of hunter groups and it was like, oh, so y'all don't like y'all husbands. Like, okay, so let me get
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah. I mean, they're not doing anything. I'm like, they're hunting. You. I would rather have a man that's out in the woods that's in the club. So,
Yeah.
and he's bringing home food. You know what I'm saying?
That's
That's
like,
just like
Yeah.
me telling a man, you're going to be away from me. You got to go to work for 9 hours, but I don't want you to work, but I want to spend the money. What kind of
Yeah,
fish
like
is
what?
that bait?
Yeah.
So, and if you might just go out there and try, and even if you don't, I understand some women, you might not want to hunt or fish because you might
Yeah,
not want to get dirty, but just go and see what they do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
exactly,
And so,
exactly.
and I tell dudes that because I run into a lot of dudes in Dallas that they feel like they're so city. I'm like, boy,
Yeah.
Dallas is country. Stop that.
Stop.
I'm like,
Yeah.
stop that. And they'd be like, well, I don't know if I want a woman who's out there with a whole bunch of dudes fishing all day. There's probably about four of us on a boat, and there is nothing going on. They're married. You know what I'm saying? All the guys I fish with are married.
Yeah,
And their wives all know me. They're not trying to cheat with me. We're not doing that. We're
we're
fishing.
out here for the
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
We're fishing. So get
Yeah.
that out of your brain. But it's like
Yeah.
you find people and they be like, I don't know about that. Well, go with me.
Yeah.
The-
Yeah.
Go with me.
exactly,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
And the the best thing that I done did for Asa was investing in the ground blind
yeah.
because I didn't want her up on no tree yet or whatever on no deer stand. So the ground blind
I didn't want me up a tree yet.
give her give her the opportunity. Hey,
Yeah.
bring you a book, bring you something to drink
Yeah.
or whatever. Bring your phone, but just
Yeah,
keep it on silent. Just keep your phone on silent or whatever. But and it still give you that opportunity of doing the same stuff that you'll be doing in the inside, but
yeah.
it's just an outdoor setting
Truthfully,
Yeah.
or whatever.
and you need that time out. You don't realize how much you just need to be outside. And of course, living in a more, populated area and stuff, being able to go away and breathe fresher air and things of that nature
Yeah.
that's needed. And I'm telling you, I get some
Yeah.
really good naps at 6, 7 a.m. in that blind. Ain't nothing like it.
Yeah.
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 It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And then
started doing that too. So
yeah.
with the blind. So they set up one and we set up in there last year for the first time. And it wasn't bad. But you're just kind of sitting there waiting. So I was like,
Yeah.
whoo.
Out of the room.
Yeah, and the thing about it, it ain't nothing like watching the woods come alive in the morning time or
Yeah.
whatever. Like how the birds start singing, how the squirrels come out of their nest,
Them
running.
300-pound squirrels. What you
Yeah,
got said?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Those-
And it is.
yeah,
It's beautiful. And
yeah,
like you said, that fresh air is for being in the city, being like polluted area here, when you go out to somewhere like when I go to North Carolina or it's just like
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a beautiful thing.
It
And
really is.
I'm like, man, just like when I come every year to Georgia for like a month
Hmm.
now because my best friend she lives in Rickon. It's right outside of Savannah, and
mm-hmm,
I like last year I was supposed to fish, but then things kept happening. So and she's from North Carolina, from Lumberton. So we was going back and forth, and I stayed there for a whole month because I usually stay for a whole month. And the air, she lives out in the country part of. So it's just like, and not far from the ocean. So it's just like I sat out on her back patio, fenced in, and just was at awe and drink my
yeah,
coffee every morning and was just like, I love this.
Yes.
I
yeah,
love it, and that's why I follow homesteaders too. And I'm
Mhm.
trying to sell my house because I live in South Arlington in this city. It's not far from the Cowboy Stadium, and
mm,
Okay.
it's a nice, quiet area. But I'm looking to sell my house now because I wanted 10 acres, but I was like, ugh, well, I'm gonna take care of that by myself just in case. So now I'm looking for about 5 acres. So I'm going to
Mhm.
yeah,
sell my house and I want to move not too far, outside, but it's more expensive outside of Dallas. So I'm
Mhm.
yeah,
trying to find somewhere to get my little piece
Yeah.
of
yeah,
country. Even if I can't
yeah,
hunt on my land, I still want that countryness as we get
yeah,
Exactly.
older.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But actually, the thing about it, 5 acres with the right kind of food source for animals, they'll come.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're gonna come to their natural food source or whatever. And hey, they got do you bow hunt, Deona?
No, I have never done that. And
Okay.
we was talking about that the other night on live because the guys are starting to bow hunt, and I've never. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna go buy one. I said maybe I could go borrow one from one of my friends. To
Yeah.
go see. But
Yeah.
Wait a minute, because is it cross? Which one? Because there's one you pull, and then
Uh-huh.
there's the other one that's like
That's the
this.
compound, and that's a crossbow. But
Yeah,
what I would tell you to invest in, Deona, is a crossbow.
and
That
That's
trigger,
the
and it's like
yeah,
boom.
that's the one that you hold like a
yeah,
Like a
Okay,
rifle or a
uh-huh,
gun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to try it. I do want to
yeah,
try. I've never used one, and
yeah,
I'm gonna think about going to try to see.
yeah,
About
uh-huh,
I always spending so much money on stuff. You know,
yeah.
everything's so
So
expensive now. My hobbies. I was like, why can't they be cheaper? But I
yeah,
wouldn't mind trying it though.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you all have like a extended bow season out in Texas, Deanna?
I don't know how long it is. Bow season, I think, starts this week or I think next week because I don't never, because I
Okay.
don't do it, so I didn't get.
Yeah.
But I think it starts this week. I think,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
and I've never done. I ain't even gonna lie to you, and I would love to at least try, but I know they have to be closer to you, right? The animals when
Yeah.
you're bow hunting,
Yeah.
right?
I would say 50 yards back.
Max. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Not don't do nothing past 50 unless you know exactly what you're doing, and it got to be a trophy. It got to be a
Okay.
trophy at 50 yards to really release that arrow, because the thing about it, even though they're running 375 or 400 feet per second, it's nothing compared to how fast a bullet run
Yeah.
or whatever. And you know what the deer do with a bullet, they'll take it and they'll run off.
Yeah.
That so they'll run off with an arrow also, but you just got to hit them right or whatever. But like here, the season came in Saturday for bow.
Yeah.
So that was September the 14th, and it runs until January the 30th.
Okay.
So it gives you that extra opportunity because here I think like October the 9th gun season comes in,
Okay.
and that'll run all the way through like around January the 1st or something like that, around
Okay.
that time. But we get extended archery season here
Ooh.
that can take us all the way to the end of January or whatever.
Okay. I'm
And
gonna have to check that out now.
yeah, yeah. So
Mhm. And it's almost, well, we live in a county where you're only allowed to bow hunt.
yeah,
There's go somewhere else to actually like firearm hunt.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it's encouraged because even one of our local parks has an archery. A couple of them have an archery range and stuff like
Oh, okay.
that.
yeah,
It's really interesting. I guess they said like, sorry that it's all we can give you, so we gonna help out a little bit.
yeah,
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, I might have to look into that because that's what we was talking about on the live the other
hmm,
day because that's what they're going to do and he's going to do it on base because he's
got you.
used to be in the Air Force. I think he was
okay,
Yeah,
D-Web. And so that's where he's in Georgia and Macon
okay,
area. So that's where he said they were going to start down there this week. And
yeah,
he showed his nice little bow. And I was like, man, and I said, I couldn't do what's that, the
yeah.
compound?
yeah. The
Yeah, that's a
compound,
little
Compound.
bit much for my shoulders because I got Bruce Size. So I'm
yeah,
a broke soldier. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I had to do what's easy for me. So,
yeah,
but I might have to look into that, the crossbow.
yeah.
yeah,
I shot a crossbow at this kind of like outdoor event that we went to, and since then I was like, okay, yeah, I want one. It feels intimidating, but or rather looks more intimidating. Well, I think all bow hunting just seems a little more intimidating than just kind of pulling a trigger. But that kind of trigger action on it is like, oh, this is simple. This isn't bad. And then as far as the pull, with the crossbow, you have that option of pulling with your foot, like just depending upon which one you purchase.
Yeah.
So you're able to
yeah,
like anchor it with your foot and then kind of raise up or somehow.
yeah.
Um,
So
But
does it have sights on it too, like a weapon does?
yeah,
Okay.
you can put a scope on it. You can put a scope on it or whatever.
mhm.
So
Okay, and see that's the thing, because I'm a poor sport, kind of like when I miss stuff, I'll be like whiny. So I was wondering about that. Do they have the scope, so where I can, dial in, or do I just
yeah,
have to kind of be like, you know,
Mm-mm.
uh-huh.
Robin?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's kind of like the firearm situation.
Okay.
You can you can spend a couple of hundred of these.
yeah, I'd have to go in the middle because I don't want nothing too cheap.
Yeah.
Because and that's why I tell people you got to spend for what you want. Because
Hmm.
Yeah.
my first kayak I bought from this guy, it was $100, and it was a nice kayak because it was about $900, but it was an ocean prowler and it was thinner, and I'm a thick girl, so I was like, look, no, I don't know about this. So I went out there, and when I learned on a wider kayak, and it was
Mhm.
more expensive. So the other day, I was like, spent over $2,000 on a kayak. I went and bought
Yeah.
it. I seen
Yeah.
it and I wanted it, and I was like, I'm gonna go get it, and I did because I don't mind spending. Now they have some that's way more expensive,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Exactly.
Old
Yeah.
Town, and Native. It's really wide. You can stand up in it, which I probably don't really want to stand up too much, but I tried it to see if I
Yeah.
could. But
Yeah.
you have to spend, I'm one of those middle people. I'll
Yeah.
meet you in the middle because you
Yeah.
don't want nothing too cheap,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta, if that's your passion, you got to. And that's
Exactly.
why
Yeah.
I have to pick and choose what I like to do nowadays, and that's why fishing and hunting is where my money goes. And my
Yeah.
broke best friends, which is my grandkids, because every time they come over here, they be like, "Gigi, I need."
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I meet in the middle. I meet in the
Yeah.
middle ground of the expensiveness.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, exactly. And look, and honestly, that's a space too, as far as like finding the products that are right for you, right for
Mhm.
your, right for your size and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because I have gotten into really good conversation where somebody was looking for like, more comfortable plus size, hunting gear and things of that nature. Because I'm sorry, but you go into academy and stuff, it's like this is not
Girlfriend.
comfortable. This is not made for me. They just made it in a larger size.
Yes.
Just different things like that.
Yeah.
And then even to the space of when Darius got into I'm pointing right here because the stand is literally right here in my living room, but we're not gonna talk about it. Oh, when Darius
Okay.
got into the tree stand, like finding like the harnesses and things of that nature that's gonna fit you, so that you will
Yes.
be safe and that you will be
Yeah.
comfortable. It just requires just a little bit more looking, but it is
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is out there. Like, don't let that be something that hinders you from going out there and experiencing
Thank you.
the
You just
outdoors.
gotta go find what makes you, like you said, you gotta find what makes you comfortable. Just like with
Yeah.
life vest. I don't like the full like I don't know, it's a
Yeah,
full vest. I
Yeah.
like the one that it comes like the two little straps come down and I hook it in the middle and it goes around my waist.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
and it automatically goes off if I hit the water. And
Hmm.
it's CO2, yeah, it's there like 100, 200. But that's what I can fish with and move because I'm not a
Yeah.
little female.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to make sure I'm safe. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because I don't want, someone call my mom and talk about Deona and drowned. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a
Exactly.
safety person.
Yeah.
But like you said, you have to find the stuff that fits you. Like I used to
Yeah.
hunt in my military gear, my
Hmm.
old military gear. But now my feet have gone flat because my feet have dropped. So now I need some new boots.
Yeah.
We don't have a problem with snakes in the wintertime, so you don't really
Okay.
have to worry about that. But I don't feel like I need like 50,000 stuff. So I was like, maybe I just need to go get one pair of boots, one or two pair of boots,
Yeah.
that can do winter and summer, far as,
Mhm.
walking around because we do have snakes here. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, when I was kayaking the other day, there was a little snake, going through the water, and I was getting him with the little paddle when the guy was showing me how to kayak. He was
Yeah.
like, Deanna, he was like, you just swooped that snake somewhere, but you was having a conniption. I am terrified of spiders. I mean,
Okay.
Okay.
terrified. Now, the spider will make me leave the whole water or the whole area.
Okay.
Okay.
But a snake, I'll just take the little flip him somewhere, get him away. But people's like, how you not afraid of the snakes that are poisonous? I was like, well, you just look at him, and just flip him on somewhere, get him away. But a spider, man, let me tell you, that'll ruin everything. A spider for
Oh,
me. It'll ruin hunting. I'll be up in the stand screaming and hollering. Let me see a snake. I mean, a spider. You'll be
Yeah.
like, yeah, so
for me, it's the
and I
snake.
do. I have to find some better stuff this year for hunting. A little bit
Mhm.
more comfortable. So I said I'm gonna go out, but I don't need real. I'm not one of those. type of people that I need something all fancy and cute.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
just need something to keep me warm. Some
Mhm.
Yeah.
good
Need
head
to work.
stuff, and I had a couple of people that asked me about some gear a while ago, but then he never came through because he was doing some camouflage stuff, and
Mhm.
so you got to be careful with that too because people don't be having the right intentions for things. So but I'm hoping one day to hopefully get sponsored by somebody who has gear for women
Yeah.
that are thicker because not all of us are tiny. I'm not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm
Mhm.
hoping that somebody comes out with some gear that's, comfortable for a woman who, has chest, and butt or legs or thighs, because
Exactly.
Mhm.
not all of us are skinny minis. So,
Exactly. And we want
Yeah.
to be out there. Like,
yes,
and we
Yeah.
want to
yes.
be out there.
And I still
Exactly.
want to be, comfortable. And that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing, like you said, comfortable. You have to have on something when you're fishing or hunting that's comfortable because
Exactly.
I mean, like I was outside on that kayak the other day for like maybe 5 or 6 hours. By the time I got off the water, I hurt my back trying to get it in the truck because I was so weak. I forgot to eat. I
Yeah.
hadn't ate all day. Only thing I had was some water, in which I won't do that again. And I don't suggest. I always tell people take snacks. But
Mhm.
I was out there enjoying myself so much. I looked and I was like, "Oh my God, it's 5 o'clock! I've been out here all day kayaking in the water by myself, just
Yeah.
kayaking around fishing." And I was like, "Oh my goodness." And so you got to have that comfortableness when you're fishing and
Mhm.
hunting. And I
Mhm.
think that's a very important thing. And I hope to one day, hey, somebody sponsor me, one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
So,
we go.
Yeah.
yeah,
There we go.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And
That's
I
so
just love
awesome.
it. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a passion. It is passion, you know.
Yeah.
And I just wished I had more women friend here to hunt and fish with, but I just haven't really met any that lives in my area. So it's
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
hard, to
Yeah.
find them that want to hunt and fish with me. It's
Yeah.
sad.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
go
like, go
ahead.
ahead. So with Sister Gal, do you have events?
No.
Okay.
I don't do the events. I'll go to events if someone, invites me to travel
Mhm.
and come because I don't mind it because, like I said, I don't work. But far as like doing events yet, I haven't started doing that.
Okay.
I do want to do next year a kayaking event for women. I do
Mhm.
because I was going to do one this year, but then it kind of just went so fast the year. And
Yes.
so I want to start a kayaking, get a kayaking here for some women to try to get them out to fish, kayak
Okay.
and fish. So
Okay.
I'm gonna try to schedule a few things next year, but I really now I just go and travel and fish. If
Mhm.
people say come fish with me or hunt with me, I'm going pew. So
Yeah.
that's all I do. I just want to meet people,
Yeah.
and hunt and fish with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm ever in y'all's area, I'll be like, hey, can I come hunt and fish with y'all? Can we go fishing? That's the thing to
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I missed out on a lot of collabs with people because I didn't have a YouTube. Because a lot of YouTubers want people who have YouTubes. So that's
Mhm.
why I just started my YouTube channel
Okay.
Yeah.
because people have been inboxing me. I want to collab with you. And I was like, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't have a YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's not that easy start that YouTube for some people because, like I tell people, I'm finance. That's my
Mhm.
background. I can analyze some money. I know about money. I can analyze, and I worked for IRS for a little bit. The state auditing when I first, retired. But then I was like, oh, this is not for me. Working with
Mhm.
no, it's not. So I was like, I ain't going back to work. I'm done. So,
Mhm.
but I can deal with money. But
Mhm.
with technology, some things I'm like, I need you to show me hands
Yeah.
on. Like, come to my house or go FaceTime with me and tell me this is what I need to do. And,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
kids can pick it up in 2 seconds. But, little old me, I was like, and so the other day, I think it was last week, I started, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago, I started my YouTube because
Mhm.
I was like, I have to do this because
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
kept coming to me. So his name is Dub Journal. He's a fishing here. He's Dub. I inboxed him. I was like, Dub, I know you work and I know you have your own YouTube and I know you're busy. And I had went on a snapper trip with
Mhm.
him in July. And I said, can you please help me? He's like, okay, I'm off Friday. He's like, I'm going to help you. Let me tell you, I had Anthony on the phone for 3 hours. I know by the time he got off the phone with me, he probably needed about 5 drinks and 2 naps because I was like, Anthony. And he was like, yo, no, this. And I was like, oh, and I was like, well, mine don't look like that. It was a trip. But the man took time to help me. And I promise you, it took us about 3 hours. But
Yeah.
he took time to help me get
Yeah.
my YouTube. So I'm so appreciative to him because,
Yeah.
it's hard, and I do want to do the collabs with people and go
Hmm.
on people's different platforms, but sometimes they want people who have those platforms.
Got you.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
trying to widen my horizon. So, what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So I'm doing whatever it takes, whatever it
Yeah.
takes so that I can fish and hunt with different people. And I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, when you're in my area, holler at me because let's fish, let's go out and fish and hunt, and let's do it, because
Hmm.
that's what I want to do. I want to meet people from all over. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I met a
Yeah.
guy a few months ago who swim with great whites.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
Through one of my friends, he don't fish or hunt, but he told me, he's like, I want you to talk to this guy, and he lives in San Diego, and he actually gets out there and great whites eat you. And he's like, "Oh, we need to do a collab." I was like, "Nah, not with that." You know what I'm saying? He went to
I'll be in the
Cuba.
boat.
Yeah, yeah, I can get in the boat, and he got out there on one of those little stand up boards, and I see his videos. I follow him on Facebook. I ain't doing none of that. He jumped off with the hippos. He wrestled some stuff. I was like,
Wow.
I want do something that's not gonna shorten my lifespan. Like I'll
Yeah.
get out there, and I might go try to get some lobsters with you.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
can we do the safer stuff, if we
Yeah.
collab on
Yeah.
anything? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not going to swim with no great white
No.
because great white they eat people. They might think I'm a what is that, a seal? No, I'm just I'm kidding. So I meet people and it'd be funny because they be like, I'm like, there's just certain things, I don't know, And I met another female and I've never turkey hunted. Have you ever
Mm.
turkey hunted? I don't bird hunt.
Yeah. Yes,
And see,
ma'am.
I've never bird hunted before because I
Yeah.
don't eat turkey except for the wings. So, like I said,
Okay.
I don't hunt things that I don't eat. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, she's really prominent down here. Her name is Shauna in Louisiana. She's
Uh huh.
bad when it comes to hunting.
Yeah.
And she asked me the other week if I wanted to come and flounder fish with her. And I'm like, well, flounder in the ocean. And she's like, yeah. I said, well, I don't know about that, because I don't think that I'm good enough for with my kayak, to be out there,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
out in the ocean. I said, what if I hook into a shark? And I seen those videos, and he just totes me on out to the ocean. So
Yeah.
she's laughing at me. She's like, you can't be scared. And so she invited me next month, and I'm gonna try to get up the courage, because
Yeah.
I want to kayak in fresh water
There you
where
go.
the fish
Yeah.
aren't bigger than me.
Yeah.
And so she was like, well, if you flounder fish, it's like in a bay area, not in the open ocean. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, ain't there still sharks? She's like, oh yeah, sharks and alligators. I was like, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
selling it too good right now.
Yeah.
so I'm still kind of on the fence, but I want to learn and do different things. Like with the bow hunting, I'm always open, but
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta be like, So I do like flounder.
Uh huh. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still on the fence about, and she's like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And I was like, oh, yeah, I am. So I'm going to try, because
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, the bait is small for flounder and sharks like big baits. I'm like, well, after I get the flounder on my
The
hook,
flounder is the
you
bait.
Uh
might be the bait for it, hey. And I do like shark, because I
Uh-huh.
like the shark fish when I lived in Charleston. I love to eat
Okay.
shark. I said, but I don't know. It's kind of scary to me, And so, but I'm going to try. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go down there and try it because,
Yeah.
I want to try it. But it does make me nervous, y'all. I ain't even gonna
Yeah.
lie. But
Yeah.
I'm coachable. Like I tell people,
Yeah.
just tell me what I need to do,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it
Mhm.
at least once. And
Yeah.
if
There you
I,
go.
can't do it, I won't do it no more. I won't do it no more.
Exactly.
So,
But you'll
Yeah.
never know until you do. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And that's how like opportunities are opened, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just like you just need to be in the right place at the right time, and
Yeah.
definitely,
Yep.
definitely. Well, Deanna, how can individuals like reach out to you? And be like, hey, we have this opportunity. Need to get in contact with you. How can our listeners and viewers get in contact with you?
They can inbox me on my Deona Lewis because the groups don't have inboxes. So they can hit me on my Deona Lewis, which is Deona, last name Lewis, Lewis, and inbox me. Oh, and if they want to call me, they can inbox me, and then I'm up to talking to people. But I'm just looking for any opportunity to help get out there and make people aware that hunting and outdoors and fishing is where it's at. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And at least try it. You
Yeah.
know? And so I hope a whole bunch of people contact me because I would love to travel and hunt and fish with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody. Make new
Definitely.
friends and memories, you know, a new
Yeah.
family.
Definitely. Your YouTube channel, what's the name of it?
It's SistaGals Fishin Adventures. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to
All right.
kind of keep them all the same.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
my Facebook, my YouTube, and my TikTok, they're all the SistaGals Fishin Adventures. Yeah.
Got you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sound good.
Yeah.
Sound
Yeah.
good.
Awesome. Well, did you have any closing words?
Um, no, I don't have any closing words. Do you have any closing words, Miss Dion?
No, I just I thank you guys. You know, I
Definitely.
thank you. And I just ask all your viewers to come and support me and show the
Hmm.
love and I will support you back. So it's not a one way thing. I mean, I love meeting new people and ask a friend to go fishing or hunting. And it
Yes.
might start something.
Exactly.
Someone who
Exactly.
says I've never done it before, just ask them. Just be
Yep.
like, come on, go with
Hmm.
me. So that's
Yeah.
what I tell people: ask, just ask someone
Hmm.
to go fishing or hunting with you. You know, to get more people out of the city, just get them
Mhm.
out and get them outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I'm gonna add to that, wives, girlfriends, go sit out there. Even if
Yeah,
you just go sit out there.
even boyfriends, because I met a lot of men who don't
There,
like to fish and hunt
there
too.
we
So
go.
Yeah.
men, get
Go
out there,
out
get you a woman who can fish and hunt,
Yeah.
and can
Yeah.
feed
Exactly.
you and come home and cook it.
There we go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen,
Hey,
definitely.
might put a ring on.
Hey, hey.
You
Well,
know?
we thank you so much. This has been great. This is, I think,
Yes.
my first time on the podcast, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed you. Look, I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
hold you to your offer. If I'm in Texas, my sister actually lives in Houston, so,
Okay.
and I know Texas is like massive though. But look,
Yeah.
if we are there, we're gonna hit you up. But
Yes. Because it's only
we
5 hours. So just
there we
let
go.
me know before time, and baby, I will be
Yeah.
on the road to come meet y'all and fish with y'all.
There we
All right.
go. There we
Sound good.
go.
Sound
Thank
good.
you so much. This has been
Thank
great.
y'all. Y'all
Okay.
All
are a
right.
blessing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
honey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely.